We've heard it our whole lives. Be the change you want to see. Sounds powerful. Looks good on a quote or a meme. But if we're honest, most of us don't actually believe it. Because if we did, we wouldn't keep handing our authority to people who haven't mastered their own impulses. We wouldn't keep waiting for politicians to fix families. We wouldn't keep waiting for the courts to fix character. We wouldn't keep waiting for police to clean up what parenting abandoned. We keep saying the system needs to change, but the system doesn't move until the people guarding it do. And here's the uncomfortable truth. We've been guarding it too. Guarding it every time we defended corruption because it was our side. Guarding it every time we said that's just how the game works. Guarding it every time we applauded hustle without asking what it costs. Guarding it with our silence, with our spending, with our selective outrage. And there comes a moment in every civilization when the uniform remains the same, but the authority inside them has expired. Let me explain what that actually means. It means the badge is still shiny, but the respect is dull. I've worn the badge, and I've seen what happens when a community doesn't trust it anymore. The patrol car rolls through the block, and instead of safety, there is tension. Not because every officer is corrupt, but compromises have piled up to the point where the uniform lost moral weight. When compliance is forced instead of inspired, it means authority is expiring. The robe is still worn, but justice feels selective. I've been to court one time too many, where I have seen young men in shackles stand before a judge, while another with influence walk in through a side door. I've seen sentences shift based on representation, based on resources, based on who knows who. The law is printed equal, black ink on white paper. My personal experience of it, however, is not. More like shades of grey. When people believe justice has tiers, authority thins. The office is still occupied, but the moral weight is gone. Campaign speeches promise reform. Policies get drafted. Committees get formed. But neighborhoods don't feel any safer. Schools don't feel stronger. Food doesn't get cheaper. Wages don't stretch further. And after a while, people stop listening. Not because they're rebellious, but because they're tired. The microphone is still live, but truth has been negotiated. Press conferences and interviews are polished. Questions are filtered. Narratives are managed. Outrage is planned. Truth becomes strategic. And when truth becomes strategic, authority expires. Then there's hustle culture. We glamorize survival. We glorify shortcuts. We celebrate the bag without questioning the method. We say, get it by any means, then complain when corruption sits at the top. But what do we think corruption is? It's hustle without conscience. It's ambition without restraint. It's appetite without discipline. If that is what we reward at the bottom, why are we shocked when it rules at the top? Let's not forget the political hypocrisy. We condemn behavior until our tribe does it. We scream about injustice until it benefits our agenda. We demand accountability for the other side and mercy for our own side. That's not leadership, that's loyalty to power. And power without principle is exactly what we claim to hate. So yes, the uniform remains the same, but the authority inside them has expired. Because authority isn't fabric, authority is moral gravity. And gravity weakens when integrity thins. Now hear this clearly. This is not an attack. This is preparation. Because when authority expires, a vacuum forms. And vacuums don't stay empty. Something must rise. The question is, will it be another manipulator? Or will it be a generation that did the internal work? The next guard isn't the loudest voice online. It's the father who stays. It's the officer who refuses to cut corners even when nobody would know. It's the judge who sentences fairly when influence whispers otherwise. It's the politician who votes against financiers when conscience demands it. It's the hustler who decides some money isn't worth the cost. It's the man or woman who governs themselves before trying to govern others. That's the new God. Not angry, not loud, but disciplined, rooted, unbuyable. So how do we become it? First, govern yourself before you try to govern anything else. Control your temper, your spending, your appetite, your word. Self-governance is the first uniform. Second, stop rewarding what you claim to hate. If you hate corruption, stop celebrating it in culture. If you hate dishonesty, stop defending it when it benefits you. Power rises where applause goes. Redirect your applause. Third, demand accountability without tribal bias. Hold your people accountable too. Fairness restores moral weight. Selective outrage destroys it. Fourth, build something clean. Mentor a kid. Start a business with integrity. Strengthen a family. Create spaces that don't depend on corruption to survive. Don't just critique broken gates. Build stronger ones. Fifth, protect standards, not status. Chase consistency over visibility. Integrity over influence. And if you ever stand in power, protect the standard even if it costs you the seat. Because once standards fall, authority expires again. The changing of the guards doesn't begin in parliament. It doesn't begin in protests. It begins in the mirror, in quiet discipline, in private decisions, in refusing to compromise when nobody would have known. The world doesn't need louder leaders. It needs cleaner ones. And cleaner leadership is forged long before it is noticed. The uniforms may remain the same. The offices may stay occupied. The titles may not change overnight. But when a generation chooses integrity over appetite, when discipline replaces chaos, when character outweighs charisma, the transfer has already begun. The guard shifts quietly at first, not with sirens, not with spectacle, but with substance. And one day, without announcement, the gate will be guarded by those who earned it. So get ready, be prepared, for it's time for the changing of the guards. This is the sacred curriculum. Lesson complete. Now, remember who you are.